Hey everyone, this is a lecture on the natural law theory. It's just a brief intro and talking about the forfeiture principle. Okay, so let's kind of see some of the benefits of the natural law theory by kind of introducing it with a moral dilemma. So when we imagine a pregnant mother can only be saved by removing her cancerous uterus, and this will kill the developing fetus. So if we go completely utilitarian, then there's the problem of trying to figure out what brings about the greatest good, keeping the mother alive or having the fetus grow, right? There's a difficulty there in trying to figure out that. If we go a deontological route, like let's say a Kantian or something like that, then what's the principle that we follow, right? Because it's a dilemma, it's hard to tell. So natural law theory tries to make sense of this a little bit more. Not that it makes it, in this kind of situation, makes it any easier, but maybe makes it a clearer explanation of what perhaps the moral thing to do is. Okay, so what is the natural law theory? Well, we have to start with like natural values. And what do we value? What are some natural values? And some examples are like life, health, procreation, that these are shared by all living creatures. And then we may have some from being human that's a little more specific to us than other living creatures. But these natural values kind of have these natural ends, right? So nature seems to have some sort of function, right? So when we think about the human heart, what's the function of it, right? It has an end, and think of end as a purpose, right? It has the purpose of pumping blood in the body, right? And and the human heart, there's pumping blood well and pumping blood not well. And we go to the doctor if the human heart does not pump blood well, because that's not functioning the way it's supposed to, right? So a natural value like health has some sort of natural end. Procreation has a natural end of procreating. Life has a natural end. Okay. Now the question is, does it extend to other things as well? Yes, the human heart has a function, but then does it also mean that our life as a human being has a kind of function as well? And living a certain way kind of fulfills that function. So we'll think about that. So what are some specific things about being human that seems to have these natural values, right? And it seems irrespective of any culture, all cultures seem to have the values of knowledge, reason, social interaction, the state or city or community, and the spiritual, right? These are characteristically human values that, although they may express them in different ways, all cultures seem to possess. And do they serve a natural end? Now we have to add another principle, and that natural law theory, how it works is that we should maintain and promote natural values. So if these are natural values and these things as well, right, then we should maintain and promote these natural values, right, of knowledge, reason, social action, social interaction, and things of that sort. Okay, so these natural values allow us to derive moral values according to the natural law theory, and also gives us prescriptions of what to do. Now there is the natural law theory historically there's a special role for reason. And part of that is that the natural order is rational, right? I mean, think about the nature of science, right? Science assumes that nature is rational, which is why we can study it and then predict that, the human heart works that way or cells work this way. And when we figure out that there's an aberration or when we figure out there's an exception, then we put that as part of the rule as well, right? So it's not chaotic and random when we do biology, right? Or chemistry or physics. So natural values seem to be rationally discovered. And it is it's rational to follow these natural laws, right? So why wouldn't we, being natural ourselves, follow nature, right? If we're rational, right? Now, part of this is the Aquinas is the kind of key proponent of this view, at least the most well known. And the way he kind of starts this out is that God is the rational creator, and it, as a good being, contributes, to the well-being and puts natural order to human beings, right? So that God has created human beings in the image of God, and as such has put in a particular function of what it means to be a vibrant human being. That is, you could actually become what you potentially are, right? So all of us have certain level of fitness, for example, but then we have the potential to be, for example, like super fit, or like our heart. Probably, hopefully, most of us have a good functioning heart, but then we have the potential for it to be an amazing heart, right? Now, don't kind of, if you cast this theory off just because the key proponent is a Christian philosopher. It doesn't have to be a particularly religious ethics, right? So an ancient system called the Stoics that predates Christianity came from had this natural law theory as well, and they saw that nature had an order, and we are part of nature, and we can be a part of that order to live a moral life. And then there's some modern evolutionary ethics that can go this route with some modifications. But if you saw the previous video about the natural law theory, then you get an idea that Aquinas was the kind of, and most the Catholic system seems to have this view. Okay, so now what's the principle of forfeiture? A principle of forfeiture is that in a conflict, and the situation is being killed by an attacker or killing in self-defense, like, what's the right thing to do, right? So the definition of this principle, and this is what, in natural law theory, right? Because if we're following our nature, and what if there's a conflict, right? Well, to deliberately attack or threaten an innocent person or nation is to forfeit one's own moral claim to live. So remember, life is a natural value and has the end of continuing to live well. But if someone is to attack you, deliberately attack you, and you're innocent, then that person who attacks you or the nation is now forfeiting their value of life. And what does it mean by innocent? A person or nation that has not attacked or threatened another, right? Now the rationale with this is you can't claim a moral right that you deny another. So if I say, like, you have the moral right to life because that comes from our natural value of life, but then I can kill you and I'm trying to kill you, then no, that doesn't seem right. So if you're trying to kill someone, you are automatically forfeiting, and this is the principle of forfeiting, your own right. And so self-defense, so the person who's being attacked has the right to defend themselves and perhaps even killing the attacker, even though they still value the natural value of life. Does this require us to kill attackers and murderers? No. It just makes it say that it's justifiable, right? That if it happens, so someone comes, someone attacks you with the intent to kill. Do I have to kill them back? No. If I could just stop them and like wait for the police or whatever, and they go through due process and all that kind of stuff, then that's fine. In that case, maybe it's preferable because then I have, valued life and did not use the principle of forfeiture. But if I did in the attack kill someone for trying to kill me and so I use self-defense, in that case, then I shouldn't be punished for it, right? Because the attacker forfeited their right to life, the moral, the natural value. Okay, so that's the couple of ideas, and I hope that makes sense. And I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.